There is no power with magistrate to arrest or detain any person for demonstration or protest. We will challenge this in HC. A magistrate are talking government language or working under pressure. These things feel like the Nazi, Hitler, era. MLA Carlos Alvares Ferreira.
For criminal action, but also for compensation. If the magistrate does not know this law, you better study the law and find out what is the correct position. I am not making this statement irresponsibly. I am making this statement after careful study, and I am making it publicly so that the magistrates may know what is their state, what is their jurisdiction, what is their power. The second part is banning the Congress party from holding protest for 3 months or 6 months in and around pension. First thing, I don't know if the magistrate knows law. If he knows law, the question is, how does he apply the law? Even in a chapter proceeding, there is no such procedure for issuing such a ban order. Was the magistrate under some compulsion? Was the magistrate trying to show that he is holier than the God himself? Or he was parroting his master's words? This ban, I spoke to Amit Patkar. Amit Patkar told me we will get the order and we will challenge it. But why I am saying? Because we have to know one thing, that the right to protest is recognized as a fundamental right. If you are wanting to silence the voice of the opposition, you are violating the constitutional rights of the citizens. First thing, in 2012, in the famous Ram Leela Maidan case, the Supreme Court recognized the right to hold a peaceful protest. And it also said it is the duty of the police to provide protection for these protests. In Binu Rawat case in 2016, the Supreme Court again held that the right to protest or demonstrate against wrongdoings by public functionaries is a fundamental right under the Constitution, and it's the duty of the police to maintain law and order, and duty of the protesters not to break the law. There is one more judgment which I will rely on, which is Bimal Gurung, which is 2018 Supreme Court. And this is very important, which I will read this paragraph. They rely on an earlier 2-judge bench decision of the court, of the Supreme Court, in Anita Thakur versus State of Jammu and Kashmir, which is of 2016. And I will read this paragraph of that earlier judgment. We can appreciate that holding a peaceful demonstration in order to air their grievances and see that their voices is heard in the relevant quarters is the right of the people. Such a right can be traced to the fundamental freedom that is guaranteed under Articles 19(1)A, 19(1)B and 19(1)C of the Constitution. Article 19(1)A confers freedom of speech to the citizens of this country, and thus this provision ensures that the petitioners could raise slogan, although in a peaceful and orderly manner without using offensive language. Article 19(1)B confers the right to assemble and thus guarantees that all citizens have the right to assemble peacefully and without arms. Right to move freely given under Article 19(1)D again ensures that the petitioners could take out a peaceful march. The right to assemble is beautifully captured in an eloquent statement that an unarmed peaceful protest procession in the land of salt satyagraha, fast unto that or do or die, is no jural anathema. It hardly needs elaboration that a distinguishing feature of any democracy is the space offered for legitimate dissent. One cherished and valuable aspect of political life in India is a tradition to express grievances through direct action or a peaceful protest. Karnatakan protest करून गेलो तेन्ना permission दिल्ले and last minute सरकारान withdraw केल्ले permission and by order under 144 prohibited them. Matter was challenged before the High Court, and that time Chief Justice who was sitting over there was our Justice Abhay Oak, who is now Judge of the Supreme Court. First paragraph he says, the Apex Court has repeatedly held that under clauses A and B of Article 19 of the Constitution of India, a fundamental right has been conferred on the citizens to protest and demonstrate against the alleged wrongdoing by the public functionaries in a peaceful manner. Both these provisions confer a right on the citizens to assemble peacefully and protest against the decisions of the government and other authorities. It is a fundamental right conferred on the citizens to express voice of dissent. It is irrelevant whether the dissent is right or wrong. Now, why I read this is because these are fundamental principles of law which a magistrate could not have violated. And even otherwise, under 144, and this is 326 now, it is not within your power, not within your jurisdiction to bar protest. You can ask somebody, ask him to sign a bond to maintain peace, to maintain security, but you cannot make this kind of a thing. This will be called in court. We will challenge the decision, but this is something which I want to inform the magistrates. Don't go overboard, because we will definitely start prosecuting you for this kind of overreaches. Second thing I want to ask is, this kind of action, हांव स्वता म्हणटा की सरकाराचे functioning reminds us of Nazi era. Hitler never liked dissent. Hitler never liked people speaking against him. कोण उलय जाल्यार तेक भितर उडयताले, कोण उलय जाल्यार तेक harass कोत्ताले. They even had street gangs who would come and attack people. They even had the Gestapo, the secret service, who would go silently and start finding out information. Ata Vijay Baban sangla that police are now knocking at his door. What are they trying to search? Is this a manner of trying to intimidate the opposition? Supreme Court has also warned that these nocturnal visits of the police violate fundamental rights of citizens. These will all be matters which we will take up, and we will definitely ensure that if this government believes in democracy, how can this government allow its functionaries to operate or function undemocratically? This cannot happen unless there are directions from the top. And it is only when we express our mind, when we are voicing our opinions, and we are opposing the government, that these counter-attacks have started. And we condemn this, and we assure you that we will definitely not only ensure that these kind of bad unconstitutional orders are called in question and quashed before the High Court, but we will make sure that rights of citizens, the fundamental rights of citizens, are not violated, not trampled upon, and opposition will always be there to voice the wrongdoings of the government, which everybody is saying, lok soita, lok uloina kita bitak, but we will be there to stand with the people and voice their grievances.